I had no idea what to expect. The closest thing to a big store I had been to was Freelanders in Worcester. These were the days when ladies and young girls would wear dresses when they went away. Mom and I picked out one of my church dresses, combed my hair, and I waited by the window for Sandra to pick me up. I was beyond excited when Sandra pulled in the driveway in a two-door brown Riviera. Being of a family of 8, we had a station wagon, where I often had to sit in the very back. I instantly was upgraded to the front seat, and off to Canton we went. Sandra is somewhat known for not being the best of drivers, and that was proven to me in a short time, as Sandra hit every sewer drain on the right side of the road between Dalton and Canton. Once at the mall, we not only shopped for her and baby things, but she bought me a back-to-school outfit. Oh my gosh, she spent $12. She bought me a pair of pull-on blue knit bell-bottom pants with a white turtleneck and a yellow vest. Just going to 7th grade was getting a whole lot better. Sandra also bought us lunch that came with a drink I had never heard of, an Orange Julius. Who would have thought milk and orange juice would have made a tasty treat? This was the first of the teachings of Sandra. A gal could go shopping and go out to eat all in one day, but it was so much more fun to do it with a friend. Zanny was born a couple months later in November. I was so in love with this little girl. She was my very own real baby doll. Sandra let me hold her, feed her, play with her, change her diaper. I am pretty sure Suzanne was the first child in our neighborhood that wore disposable diapers. Should have heard my mom. These new mothers, that is so wasteful and so expensive. I spent every day I could at Sandra's. If there was no school, I would get there one way or another. Spend the day and the night if I could. I babysat for Zanny on Saturday nights, and Sandra worked during the summer, and I would watch her a couple days at my house. One day while I was at Sandra's, I spotted a pair of purple high-heeled shoes that had ribbons. It just so happened that the 8th grade dance was coming up. When Sandra wasn't looking, I tried them on. Lucky me, you know the saying, if the shoe fits, you might as well wear them. So Mom and I went shopping for material for a dress, and I wanted velvet, but that wasn't in the budget. I settled for purple brushed corduroy for the dress, purple lace for the long sleeves, purple ribbon for the bows down those long lace sleeves. I could see it then. With Sandra's shoes, what a fashion statement. By now I knew Sandra pretty well, and I put in a plan. The next time was at her house, I mentioned that Mom was making a dress for me for the fall dance. And she seemed interested, so my plan was working. So I continued, and I said, kind of let it slip out, gee, I don't have any shoes to wear. Sandra's heart opened immediately. She said, let's take a look what I have. Maybe we can find a pair of shoes in my closet. Sandra pulled out shoe after shoe. And for some reason, not one of those shoes fit. And then, in like a Cinderella-type moment, Sandra handed me the purple shoes. And bippity-boppity-boo, those shoes fit. My plan was almost complete. She questioned me about the color of these shoes and my dress, and I assured her it was perfect. So I got home, and I brought the shoes and my dress to my mom. Mom took one look at those shoes, and she said, Judy, these shoes do not match your dress at all. They're the wrong shade and color of purple. To me, purple was purple. I didn't care. No one else was going to have high-heeled shoes on that were purple with bows. So the girls were going to be jealous. My plan had worked. The shoes was at my house, and I told Mom, well, I really wanted to wear them, and if they really, really didn't match, it was going to be dark. So there, problem solved. No one would see them. And that's what I did. I had fun, and I danced in Sandra's shoes. Many times since those shoes, I would now ask to shop in Sandra's closet for just the right accessory. Sandra always was willing to give me whatever I needed or wanted. Not only did Sandra bring fashion and new ways of doing things to Kansas Road, she had a funny way of saying things. If Sandra said she would give you a Yankee dime, you thought maybe you were going to get paid 10 cents. No, you were going to get a kiss. There's going to be a whirly whirl of pecker words coming. That meant it was going to rain, and it was going to rain hard. Udden. That means we're going to have a hard time getting up this hill, so we better get going. Ushy boogers. That translates to, it's cold outside. Just make a pallet over there on the floor. What? What did that mean? That meant to go and get some blankets and put them on the floor for us to either sit or lie down on. Would you like some pan syrups? I was going to make pancakes for breakfast. Would you like some? Or maybe you would like lump soup. That was Campbell's cream and chicken soup. When asked how she was, Sandra often replied, fine as frog hair, just half as silky. I still don't know what that means. Just when life couldn't get any better, Sandra was pregnant again with Rachel. I had 4 years of experience now, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on Rachel. And just as with Zanny, I fell in love with Rachel. Sandra let me mother Rachel just like she did with Zanny. It was just double fun having two little girls. I taught Zanny and Rachel how to ride bikes, jump rope, attempted ice skating. And why pull a big sled up and down a hill in the winter when we could just climb on the top of the chicken house and slide off the roof? Sandra made time for me. Sandra gave me lessons on how to put on makeup, teaching me how to curl and tease hair. I practiced and failed many times with the girls as my clients. When making a bed, put the pretty side of the sheet down so it's next to you. And there is no limit of the number of bounce dryer sheets that you can use in one load of laundry or Downy's fabric softener. Sandra never had a clothesline, but Sandra had clothespins. I don't think there was a style of clothespin she didn't have. She had wooden ones, French ones, colored ones, plastic ones. A clothespin was attached to just one piece of paper, or maybe it held 2 pieces of paper, or maybe some outgoing mail. But most likely she had cut up a Stover frozen dinner box and wrote an important memory or appointment on it and attached a clothespin. Then on to the finer things of life. Cheap fake jewelry looks fantastic when you mix it with real diamonds and pearls. Remember at the beginning I had told you Sandra had trendy clothes when we first met. Sandra took it to a whole new level as the years went on. She proved one could wear white or cream even after Labor Day to any occasion and rock it. And yes, it is totally acceptable to wear a fur coat to Bueller's and the dollar store. I will share one of Sandra's secrets with you that most of you don't know about a Cadillac. The hood of a Cadillac can be a great flat surface for tackle boxes, a box of worms, fishing poles. See, grandsons can have everything right there to bait their fishing hooks when we go fishing over at the pond. Sandra had different names for her relatives that we call aunts, grandmas, and grandpas. There's a Shine and a Boopy, a Mama Franklin, a Daddy Paul, and of course her Mama Nene. As time went on, Zanny and Rachel grew up and went on with their lives, both becoming wonderful wives and loving mothers, only living far away. I remember saying to Rachel and Zanny, "Don't leave me here alone with her." Sometimes Sandra's health wasn't so easy to deal with. She never got quite the grasp of what a true diabetic diet was. She thought she could have the whole cake instead of just the piece of cake. And Sandra believed everything was better with butter and a basket of breadsticks from the Olive Garden. In a few weeks, I will celebrate 35 years of marriage with my husband, Dave Brown. We have a son, Jaron. Zanny is married to Matthew Brown and has 5 sons and a daughter. If you didn't catch that, Zanny and I are both Mrs. Browns. Rachel is married to Jeremy, and they have 2 sons, and they live near Seattle, Washington. out of any place in the world you want to guess where our son Jaron and his fiancée live? Near Seattle, Washington, just down the road from Rachel. It has been 50 years since this story started. Had I been told then, I would have never believed it. But God knew this all along. It just took us some turns, some twists and detours to get here today. And as I would often start by saying, Sandra Ann, this is Judy Ann. You know what we're doing today? Well, today is a very special day. We're all gathered together to say goodbye and celebrate your life. I went to the beauty parlor this morning, got my hair all done, because it was hair doing day, just like Sandra would do. I'm wearing a dress, this time with just a splash of her favorite color of cream, and my shoes match. In saying goodbye, my dear friend, I want everyone to know this. I am thankful Sandra was brought to me by God. He brought her into my life so many years ago, and of all the many things she taught me and showed me, the most special and most treasured one is love. From you, Sandra Downen, I learned how I can love someone else's child or someone else's children as if they were my own, just as you loved me as I was your very own. I love you, Sandra Ann.
Sandra Ann, or as my family likes to call her, Nani, was one of the most compassionate women I've ever met in my life. Those who knew her well can always recall her calling them darling. And I have many fond memories, all starting with her calling us darling, whether it's from Noah and I going down to the lake or the caboose. Always afraid to go swimming because there were fish in there, which was the whole point of the lake. But I can remember her taking that Cadillac and hitting those bumpy roads. I think she bent the bumper once, but she didn't care. She just wanted us to have a good time. Nani loved a lot of things in life. Big fur coats, GM cars, puzzles, John Travolta, but none of that compared to the love she had for her family, whether it was her daughters or her grandkids. She was always a major part of our life. It was really sad to see her go from being so close to me to being far away. But I knew that no matter where she was, we always had this special connection. And I'm saddened to be here now and speaking at her funeral, but I know that heaven just got another angel and she's finally somewhere that she truly belongs.
Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful memories with us. Thank you, Zach and Jonah, for the poetry. Rachel, Judy, Cameron, appreciate your thoughts. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming and supporting the family today. I want to remind you, there's a note at the end of your bulletin that there's going to be a brief service across the street at Crown Hill Cemetery, followed by a time of reception at Dravenstadt's restaurant, and the family would love to be able to talk with you at that time if you're able to come. Obviously, a lot has been said about Sandra's life. What a beautiful person she was, and what an amazing life she lived. And without a doubt, her spirit continues to be reflected in her family. I want to begin my brief message with a prayer that she penned that the family shared with me. Her prayer begins by saying, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for your majestic creation of our lives. We acknowledge that we are all gifts from your hands, as are the moon and stars. You have set us in each other's lives because you are mindful of us. We see your glory in our lives through all the many blessings you give us, and we see your love for us in our children and grandchildren, and how that love can be lived out through them. O Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. We pray